The disciples and apostles of Jesus lived far from easy lives, and their deaths were anything but peaceful. Ancient traditions that recount their deaths, despite their differences, agree almost unanimously that they met tragic ends. In fact, anyone seeking to discover how each apostle died would come across horrific accounts. Each story is more gruesome than the last, with various tales of crucifixion, stoning, flaying, beating, beheading, and more. In this video, we will explore everything that is known about how the 12 disciples and apostles of Jesus met their demise. Additionally, we will include Apostle Matthias, who succeeded Judas Iscariot in the group of the 12 apostles, and Paul, the last of the Bible's apostles. Before we delve into the specific deaths of each of Jesus's disciples and apostles, it is important to acknowledge that, with the exceptions of 2 of them, the Bible does not provide any further details about how the other apostles died. Therefore, all we know about this subject stems from ancient Christian traditions. Some of these traditions were recorded in writings dating back to a period shortly following the apostolic era. Some traditions are well documented and can be found in works written by ancient historians and church fathers. However, others are not very reliable and merely appear to be legends from the early centuries of Christianity. It is crucial to understand that both the most reliable and the most obscure traditions can never be put on an equal footing with the biblical text. While the ancient Christian traditions are intriguing and often useful in helping us understand the events and historical context of the early years of the primitive church, they are not the Bible. Furthermore, discussing how the apostles of Jesus died is no easy task because these ancient traditions offer different versions of their deaths, and the accounts often confuse and intermingle historical facts and characters. However, in this exploration, I will strive to maintain the greatest possible distinction in this respect, based on what is most widely accepted within historical theology. James, the son of Zebedee, holds the distinction of being the only apostle whose death was documented in the New Testament, besides, of course, Judas Iscariot, the treacherous disciple. Thus, of all the accounts detailing the apostles' deaths, this is the one we can fully trust. James, the son of Zebedee, and also the brother of the apostle John, was the first among the apostles to be martyred. This happened during the Jewish persecution against the early Christians, instigated by King Herod Agrippa I, the grandson of Herod the Great and nephew of Herod Antipas. Therefore, the first ruler to persecute the Christians in the primitive church was the grandson of the king who sought to kill the newborn Jesus by ordering the massacre of infants in Bethlehem, and nephew of the ruler who beheaded the prophet John the Baptist and played a role in Jesus Christ's condemnation. In chapter 12 of the Acts of the Apostles, we read that Herod Agrippa extended his hands to afflict the Christians. It was in this context that he killed the apostle James by the sword and also imprisoned the apostle Peter. Herod's violence against the Christians pleased the Jewish leaders of that time, and the apostle Peter was spared death only because the Lord miraculously freed him from prison through an angel. James's death occurred around 44 AD, and the fact that he died by the sword likely indicates that he was beheaded. According to some traditions, Apostle Andrew, Peter's brother, was killed in Greece, in the Roman province of Achaia, specifically in Patras, after evangelizing the local proconsul's wife. He died by crucifixion on an X-shaped cross, as he did not deem himself worthy of being crucified in the same manner as Jesus. However, before his crucifixion, Andrew endured a lengthy session of torture, being brutally whipped. Due to this tradition, this cross design has become known as the St. Andrew's Cross. The accounts detailing the death of Apostle Philip are rather confusing, particularly because these stories seem to conflate Apostle Philip with Evangelist Philip, a deacon of the Church of Jerusalem. Thus, some traditions say he was crucified, others that he was stoned. Some say he was both stoned and crucified, and still others claim he was hanged. There is even a tradition stating he died of natural causes. However, the most renowned tradition concerning Philip's death suggests that he dedicated his ministry to preaching the gospel in Asia Minor and ended up being killed in the region of Phrygia by crucifixion and stoning. Apostle Bartholomew, also known as Nathanael, remains one of the most mysterious disciples of Jesus, as there is a lack of reliable sources about his life after Jesus' earthly ministry. However, some traditions claim that after dedicating his life to spreading the gospel in various regions, he was flayed alive. Other accounts mention that in addition to being flayed, Bartholomew was also crucified. Some versions even suggest that he was whipped to death or beheaded. The details surrounding Bartholomew's death are uncertain, but the various traditions offer different possibilities. Apostle Thomas's death is shrouded in speculation, with legends and ancient traditions providing several accounts. According to some traditions, Thomas served as a missionary in the regions of Syria and India, and his death supposedly occurred in southern India when he was impaled with spears by followers of local religions. These traditions suggest that Thomas met a martyr's fate while preaching the gospel in distant lands. Simon the Zealot's death is also subject to various versions in ancient traditions. While some Christian traditions claim that he was martyred at a very old age during the reign of Emperor Trajan, the specific details differ. Some accounts state that Simon was crucified, others suggest that he was burned alive, and still others claim that he was sawed in half. The exact circumstances of his death remain uncertain. Judas Thaddeus, according to certain traditions, was a great missionary who evangelized various regions of the Roman Empire until he was martyred. Similar to the other apostles, there are different versions of his death. Some traditions suggest that he was killed with spear blows, others claim he was bludgeoned to death, and another version states that his head was severed with axe strikes. Interestingly, some ancient accounts link the deaths of Judas Thaddeus and Simon the Zealot, stating that both apostles were beaten to death with axe blows by a mob led by pagan priests in Mesopotamia. Matthew, the apostle who had worked as a tax collector before following Jesus, has several accounts regarding his possible martyrdom. While one tradition claims that he died of natural causes, the most commonly accepted version is that he was killed in Ethiopia, likely by a sword. The specific details surrounding Matthew's death are not well documented, leading to confusion and differing accounts. The death of James, son of Alphaeus, also known as James the Less, is surrounded by significant confusion. Some traditions mistakenly conflate this James with the James who authored one of the New Testament epistles. However, distinguishing between James, son of Alphaeus, and other biblical characters with the same name, ancient accounts suggest that he preached the gospel in parts of Egypt and was ultimately crucified there. The most well-known account of an apostle's death is that of Peter. According to the writings of early church fathers, Peter was martyred in Rome around 68 AD during the persecution instigated by Emperor Nero. Peter's execution took place at a location known as Nero's Circus. Tradition holds that Peter was set to be crucified in the conventional manner, but requested to be crucified upside down, as he did not consider himself worthy to die in the same way as Jesus Christ. John, the beloved disciple, was the last of Jesus' apostles to pass away. According to tradition, he was severely persecuted and tortured. An ancient account even suggests that he was thrown into a cauldron of boiling oil, but miraculously survived. Later, John was exiled to the island of Patmos, where he received revelations from the Lord recorded in the book of Revelation. After the death of Emperor Domitian, John was freed from Patmos and lived to a very old age in Ephesus, where he died of natural causes. Judas Iscariot, the betrayer of Jesus, was the first of the 12 disciples to pass away. However, unlike the other apostles, he was not martyred for Jesus' name. After betraying Jesus and attempting to return the silver he received for his treachery, Judas hanged himself. Matthew's account states that Judas burst open in the middle and his intestines spilled out. The details surrounding Judas's death are gruesome and serve as a tragic reminder of the consequences of his actions. Matthias was chosen to replace Judas Iscariot among the 12 apostles. According to traditions, he ministered in Ethiopia and then proceeded to the Caucasus region, where he was reportedly crucified. Other traditions suggest that he was decapitated by Jews in Judea, and still others claim that he died a natural death at an advanced age in Jerusalem. The specific details of Matthias's death vary depending on the sources. Paul, although not part of the original 12, was selected by the risen Christ to be the apostle to the Gentiles. Like the tradition regarding Peter's death, the account of Paul's demise is considered trustworthy. Records indicate that Paul was beheaded in Rome during Emperor Nero's reign around 67 AD. This was the same persecution that led to Peter's martyrdom. Paul's second letter to Timothy reflects his final moments before martyrdom, serving as a testament to his unwavering faith and dedication to spreading the gospel. In conclusion, the deaths of Jesus' apostles hold significant historical and religious importance. While the specific details surrounding their deaths may vary in different traditions and accounts, what remains undeniable is their unwavering commitment to the cause of the gospel. These men were true followers of Christ, willing to sacrifice their well-being and, ultimately, their lives for the sake of exalting the name of Jesus Christ among all tribes, tongues, and nations. Their stories serve as a testament to the cost of discipleship and the enduring legacy of their faith. Understanding their deaths allows us to appreciate their profound dedication and the impact they had on spreading the message of Jesus Christ to the world. If you have found this exploration of the deaths of Jesus' apostles intriguing, we encourage you to subscribe to our channel for more insightful content. We also invite you to share your thoughts and reflections in the comments section below.